We finally have our first teaser for Crystal Lake that shows off a bloody Pamela Voorhees and little baby Jason. Let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
But sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
For those who don't know, the upcoming Crystal Lake series is technically a prequel to the original Friday the 13th. The series follows single mother Pam Voorhees, who has been unable to shake her grief after her young, sickly son, Jason, tragically drowned in the town lake almost a year before. When two strangers arrive at Pam's door, digging into her past, a disturbing chain of events is set into motion, leaving the townspeople of Crystal Lake wondering just who is Pam Voorhees. Linda Cardellini plays the murderous matriarch this time around, joined by Callum Vincent playing her little baby son. Some other familiar faces from previous iterations of Crystal Lake will be running amok as well, like Barry, Claudette, and Crazy Ralph, all played by new actors, obviously. Last we heard, Schuler White was in talks to reprise the role of Jason Voorhees in this series after portraying the character in the Mike P. Nelson directed Angry Orchard commercial, Sweet Revenge. Between that and various teases from the cast and crew of this show that Jason will be back, he fucking better be. I am really excited to explore Pamela Voorhees. That came out the wrong way. I am definitely excited to learn more about Pamela Voorhees' backstory, but getting down to brass tacks here, man, I want Jason Voorhees on screen, baby. Showrunner Brad Caleb Kane gives me a ton of faith in the series considering his work on the absolutely excellent It Welcome to Derry, a show that brilliantly took that franchise to TV without skipping a beat. I will also mention Brian Fuller, the showrunner of the previous version of the series that got scrapped, is still getting a story by credit on the pilot episode. He also has some killer credits under his belt, like the Hannibal television show. Interestingly enough, I'm watching that for the very first time right now over on Patreon. Check that out down in the description below, alongside a ton of other horror television show reactions. There is so much horror TV I shockingly have not seen. All 8 episodes of this series drop on October 15th of this year, so you'll be able to binge the whole thing day one if you really want to. As a content creator, that does kind of bum me out, because if it was 8 episodes across 8 weeks, that would be 8 weeks of content that I could rely on, but as a Friday the 13th fan, this update does have me really excited. I'm sure I'll have some sort of massive review after spending that Friday just watching all 8 of the episodes. The big update today revolves around the teaser trailer that just dropped online this week. The voice narrating the trailer says that Jason drowned in the previous year.
It's like someone put a curse on this town. It all started when that kid drowned last summer.
Now, I could be wrong, but that narrator seems to be awfully obsessed with town curses. You know, perhaps death curses?
It's got a death curse!
I think that might be Ralph before he goes all crazy riding his bike around town. We see some teenagers playing hide the sausage when they should be helping that little boy who's drowning in the lake. I'm pretty sure one of them, Claudette in particular, is recreating the opening scene of the original film right here. I wonder if this is gonna be one of Pam's first kills of the show or one of her last to make it a true prequel. More on the whole prequel nature of this show later on. We even get to see little baby Jason on his birthday in what is the most striking shot from the new teaser. Pam looks with concern at her child, who is likely suffering from some sort of deformity. The term that most fans have settled on is hydrocephalus. It seems like the show is going to explore Pam's struggles to not only take care of Jason, but then to lose him, something the original movie only briefly touches on. So for those of you who are worried this is just going to be another metaphor for grief kind of show, I think it's going to go a little step farther than that and get into some specifics. You may have also noticed that there is a mistake in this scene, kind of, maybe not. Jason's birthday is listed as Friday, May 13th. We learned in the original movie that it is actually June 13th. I believe that this was intentional. Showrunner Brad Caleb Kane deliberately chose to change the time period that Jason was born in to tell this story during the 70s. Talking about this, Kane said, "I wanted to touch on all the pop culture artifacts that were tangential to the America from which these movies were born." So this show is essentially doing what It 2017 did to that story, taking it from one time period to a more popular one, especially for horror and Friday the 13th in general, the late 70s. So after a bit of research on where Friday the 13th's land in the 20th century, I believe this version of Jason was born on Friday, May 13th of 1966. That would make the character 12 in 1978, the year he probably drowned in this iteration, so that the series can take place in 1979. That is, of course, the same year that the original film takes place in outside of the opening scene flashback. Original Jason Voorhees drowned when he was 11, for those of you who are racing to your keyboards right now to correct me. I think that's just another thing they're changing in order to tell this story the way they want to. Personally, I think setting this show in the late 70s is going to replicate the same feeling of watching the original film, but with modern technology. I mean, the cinematography in that teaser trailer looks incredible, but it also still looks like a Friday the 13th movie with a little more polish on it. And just in general, I'd rather new creatives make changes like this to a series so that the current story works better, rather than trying to fit their own vision into the established franchise. Typically, projects come out better when you pick the path of the former. I also don't think it's too hot of a take to say that the original Friday the 13th lore, which is borderline nonsensical, could totally use a facelift. Jason goes from being a little swamp boy to a full-on hulking slasher in between the events of the first movie and its sequel, which, mind you, is only a 5-year gap. That is never really addressed in either of those films. Speaking of Jason, we do get this interesting shot of a machete-wielding hand with some crazy veins poking out. Aye, aye, aye. If this isn't adult Jason Voorhees, we riot. Seriously though, the trailer talks about a curse, and the supernatural has always been apparent in the series since the very first entry. Could Crystal Lake have resurrected and aged up Jason after he drowned? And could the series explore the supernatural abilities of the lake that were also featured in the latest Jason Universe short film Sweet Revenge? You'll remember that it showcased a character being killed in the lake only to be resurrected so she could fight Jason Voorhees again. Considering that the series is happening in conjunction with the Jason universe, I wouldn't be shocked if some of those elements of Sweet Revenge leaked their way into this show. I know that some fans are never going to be on board to major changes to source material like this, but personally, I think it's something that is going to make Friday the 13th stronger, exploring some new versions of these characters. Based on all the bloody shots of Linda Cardellini here, I'm sure that Brad Caleb Kane will make good on his promise of delivering a bloody slasher show, but I also need like a little more than that for 8 episodes of a TV series. The story is definitely going to explore Pam's descent into madness, but I hope that it also dives into Crystal Lake's supernatural abilities and how Jason Voorhees became the town's unkillable cryptid. We are finally going to see season 1 of this show on October 15th of this year. It's crazy to think that I've been covering the show pretty much since I started this channel. It's been that long of a wait. This teaser is very promising, however, so I do think that wait is going to be worth it. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed, man. Stay tuned for more coverage on Crystal Lake. Before we wrap up today's video, please make sure to like it and subscribe to this page for more updates on the most exciting horror projects. Also, the best way to support this channel is by becoming a patron on Patreon. Over there, you can find a ton of bonus content like reactions to various horror TV shows and movies. We're currently watching Dexter and Hannibal, with multiple episodes going up there a week. No, what? Check it out by clicking on the link in the description below. One final plug and I'll shut the heck up. Please make sure to also check out my film channel, Human Egg Productions, where we're currently posting horror and comedy short films. If you like slashers especially, check out the gory short I wrote and directed called Chicken Man. Thank you to everyone who supports all of my pages. So what are your guys' thoughts on Crystal Lake? Do you like that it's being set in the 70s? Are we willing to vibe with Pamela Voorhees for an entire season so that season 2 can maybe be a little more about adult Jason killing people? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.